Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, we'll be talking about docstrings. So, let's dive in. Docstrings are just multi-line comments that are written as the first statement in a function, a module, a class, or even a method definition. So maybe we can just remind ourselves how multi-line comments were written. So I said that to write multi-line comments, you can use quotes, three quotes, 1, 2, 3, like that. Let me just remove one. 1 2 3, like that. Then you just write your comments. Maybe I can say line 1, line 2, any number of lines that you can write. Then you just close the three comments again. So that's how you write multi-line comments. And we said that you can also use the single quotes. So you can either use the double quotes or the single quotes. So you can, if I put single quotes like that, if I put three single quotes and also I close them with three single quotes like that, you can see also that is also a multi-line comment. Now if I have a function, let's say I have a simple function here, I'll call it add nums, that takes two parameters a and b and returns the sum of those numbers. So it will return the sum of a and b. So if I have this simple function, then I put some multi-line comments as the first statement. Let me just indent this. Then this comment, we said when you learned about comments, you said that comments must make some sense. So maybe I can make these comments make sense. I can say this function takes two parameters, maybe returns some. So you can see I put some comments that says that tries to define what the function does. So this function takes two parameters and returns the sum. Now this here is a docstring. As you have said that a docstring is just a multi-line comment that occurs as the first statement in this case in a function, but it can also be in maybe a module, a class, or other method definitions. But this now is what we call it a docstring. Now if you call this function, let me call it down here. Now if you call this function add nums, let me call it, let's say 3 and 2. So this one should return 5. But if I hover on this, you can see it tells me takes two parameters and returns sum. So that docstring, once you hover the function call, it tries to explain to you what the function does. And this is possible because we had this docstring up here. And let me just run this code to prove that it works. So let me just print this. If I just print that and run this code, you'll see it will just display 5 in the terminal. But if we had this, let's say these comments, this docstring, let's say it was up here. Let's return where it was just up there initially. Let us just return where it was. So initially it was there, and once it was there, let me save this code and I hover this. You can see I don't get anything because these ones are just multi-line comments. But once they're in a function as the first line there, it becomes a docstring. And now if I hover on this function, I get what that function does, and this is gotten from the docstring. And also you can access this docstring of any function using the doc attribute. For example, let me just print it. Let me just print. You just write the name of the function, in this case add nums, then say dot, then you put underscore underscore, then doc, like that. Name of the function dot underscore underscore doc underscore underscore. And if I save this code and run it, you can see now I'll get the full docstring of that function. You can see this is the docstring of that function. It's printed in the console. So now we can have access to the docstring using the doc attribute. You can just write the docstring the way you want, but the recommended way is this one. The first line should be a brief description of the function, then followed by a detailed description of the function explaining its purpose, and it can be many lines. Then next you should put the parameters and the return statement. So this is the correct syntax of writing a docstring. And for this function here, I have the docstring down here, so I can just copy this here. This code that I had this here in the notes, I can just copy that and replace that with my. Now this is the full docstring of this function, because this function adds two numbers and returns the results. Then it explains the function in detail, then it explains the parameters and the return statements. So this is how you should write your docstring. And if I hover, you can see all the full documentation of that function is given there when I hover that function. This helps you and other developers using your code to know what the function is doing. As you have said earlier, you can have a function, then reuse it anywhere inside the code. So if you write a function, maybe another person is using it, you can just hover on that function call and can see what the function is doing and can see all the expected parameters and the expected return statements. You can also call this doc for inbuilt functions. So once you learned about the inbuilt functions, in the next video we'll see how you can use this docstring for the inbuilt functions. So that is it for this video, guys. See you in the next video. Peace out.